Take care, Good Knight. We know the stories about the Good Knight and the three little dragons. I love these stories, and this would be a good one too. Once there were three little dragons. The dragons lived in a deep, dark cave that was in the king's forest, but the dragons were very happy in their cave. They had a good friend. He was called the Good Knight. Every day he rode his horse clippity-clop, clippity-clop to the dragon's cave to say, "Good morning, good dragons." "Good morning, Good Knight," replied the dragons. And every night he rode his horse clippity-clop, clippity-clop to the little dragons to put them to bed. Good night, the dragons said before they went to sleep. One day, after the Good Knight had ridden off on his horses, clippity-clop, the little dragons heard a knock on the door. It was another friend, the old wizard. "Good day, little dragons. I was wondering if you could help me," the old wizard said. "We'll try," said the little dragons. "I would like you to watch my cats while I go away for a few days. Can you do it?" The dragons had never watched cats before. But the Good Knight had taught them that it was good to do good deeds. "Certainly, we'll help you," said the dragons. The old wizard was very happy. He told the dragons that he would leave a note with the instructions at his cottage. He left them the shiny silver key to his door. "Take care, good dragons," he said, and then he disappeared in a puff of smoke. "This is going to be fun," said the first dragon. "I can hardly wait," said the second dragon. "Yippee," said the third dragon. The next day the dragons went to the wizard's cottage to take care of the cats. They opened the door with the shiny silver key. They saw lots of cats. They found the wizard's note on the counter. There was only one problem. The dragons didn't know how to read. See a picture of water, and I see a picture of a cupboard, and I see a picture of the bed. I'll go ahead and read that note to you so you can see it. It says, "Give the cats fresh water. Give the cats food from the cupboard. Put the cats asleep in their bed at night." "I think the first thing we're supposed to do is take the cats to swimming in the lake," said the first dragon. So the dragons gathered up the cats and took them to the lake for a swim. I think that picture of the water was supposed to be give them water to drink. Just then the Good Knight was riding by on his horse. "Good day, good dragon," said the Good Knight. "What are you doing?" "We're taking the wizard's cats for a swim," said the dragons. "He told us to." Cats swimming? That didn't seem right. But if the old wizard said so, it must be true. "Very well," said the Good Knight. "Carry on." But the cats didn't like swimming. They didn't like it one bit. They howled and yowled. They quivered and shivered until the little dragons took them home. Then the little dragons looked at the wizard's note to see what to do next. "I think it says to put the cats in the cupboard," said the second dragon. So the dragons put the cats in the cupboard. Just then the Good Knight was riding by. "What are you doing?" he asked the Good Knight. "We're putting the wizard's cats in the cupboard. He told us to." Cats in the cupboard? That didn't seem right. But if the old wizard said so, it must be true. "Very well," said the Good Knight. "Carry on." But the cats didn't like being put in the cupboard. They didn't like it one bit. They scritched and scratched until the little dragons let them out. By then the cats were very thirsty and very hungry, and so were the little dragons. But they looked at the note once more. "I think now we're supposed to take the cats camping," said the third dragon. So the dragons took the cats out camping under the stars. "What are you doing?" asked the Good Knight, who was coming to bring the dragons back to their cave. "We're taking the cats out camping," said the dragons. "The old wizard told us to." Cats? Camping? That didn't seem right. But if the wizard said so, it must be true. "Very well," said the Good Knight. "Carry on." But the cats didn't like camping. They didn't like it one bit. They jumped and bumped. They clawed and pawed. They cussed and fussed and hissed. and they would not even eat one toasted marshmallow. Now, you guys have had toasted marshmallows. Can you imagine a cat not wanting to have a toasted marshmallow? That is ridiculous. The good knight couldn't help but hear all the racket from the cats were making. Something doesn't seem right, he thought. Back he rode to the wizard's house, clippity-clop. Follow me, good dragons, he said. Let's get to the bottom of this, and bring those cats. Inside the wizard's house, the good knight found the wizard's note. It didn't say to take the cats swimming. It did not say to put the cats in the cupboard, or to take them camping. Didn't you read this note? He asked. The dragons hung their heads. Their eyes filled with drippy-droppy tears. We told him we'd take care, but we don't know how to read, they confessed. So the good knight read the note to the dragons, much like I'm reading this to you now. First, they gave the cats water. Then they fed the cats food from the cupboard. And then they put the cats in their beds to sleep. By then the dragons were very tired themselves. The good knight walked them back to their cave and tucked them in for the night. The next day the wizard came back from his trip. He visited the dragons. Thank you for watching my cats, he said. You did such a good job. I wanted you to have this. He handed them a tiny baby kitten of their own. And I wanted you to have this, said the good knight. He handed a book to the dragons. It's a dragon ABC book. It was a book about learning to read. That's just what those little dragons need. A book about learning to read and someone to teach it to them.